Welcome back to Numbers on the Board.
Numbers on the board, yes.
We are here in Indianapolis, 2024 NBA All-Star break. We got a special guest in the building. Our co-worker?
A co-worker.
Yes. Yeah. Former NBA champion.
Former NBA. Well, he's still a champion.
He's still a champion.
Still a champion. Perk is in the building, man. Can we get a round of applause for Perk in the building, man? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. Appreciate y'all having me. It's cold as hell outside.
Super cold.
Yeah,
very cold.
You see, we tried to get all dressed up. We walked out that hotel like, man.
Dang.
I didn't get the memo. You know what I'm saying? I got a little swag outside of this suit stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
But the suit's
up
still
to
clean.
Yeah,
Yeah, suit's still clean.
For sure.
For real. Uncle Perk in the building. Glad you pulled up. Appreciate you pulling up
I
on us.
appreciate y'all having me, man.
Much love. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna dive right into this. So one of the first questions that popped in my brain when I knew he was having you on is about Doc. Mm-hmm. And the reason I want to bring up Doc is because obviously you are a champion. You won your ring with Doc. I feel like Doc get a bad rap when his name come up, whether it's the fans, some media people. I think he's one of the unluckiest coaches just because of the certain situation with the Lob City, having CP3 and Blake, both guys that are normally, missing time or whatnot. What's your perception of Doc, and how do you view him as a valuable coach? What is his value as a coach that would make a Milwaukee fire Adrian Griffin and bring in a Doc Rivers?
Well, I think with Doc, he's a leader of men. But you got to you got to accept it. You got to have an open mind, and you got to be willing to be held accountable, right? So you got to think. People always go back to Doc days and say, "Oh, he didn't win a championship since 2008." Well, Doc had a bunch of dogs, right? He had a bunch of guys that were willing to lose themselves into the team. And so with Doc, he'll tell you all the time, he go to sleep with a clipboard on the side of his bed, right? Because the play may come to his memory and he'll just draw the shit up, right? He'll draw it up, it come to memory, and he say he don't want to lose it. But Doc get unfair criticism. Because, everybody talk about, over the last couple of years, he lost so many Game 7s. But the last time I checked, I thought Game 7s, I thought your superstar is supposed to take you home.
Yeah.
Because in a 7-game series, think about it. It's nothing else that you could do in the scouting report.
Exactly.
It's no more adjustments that you could do after you done played the team 7 times, right? I know what you about to do. You know what I'm about to do. It's mano y mano. And so when I think about, that's why I said right now, the Milwaukee Bucks, this situation, this is actually the closest championship-ready team that he has had since he coached in Boston. All of those other teams was just in the middle of the pack, right? They were never a heavy favorite, a top 3 favorite. And, tell you a quick story. Nobody know this, but Doc and I actually – I got traded to Utah, and then I got waived because I wasn't going to Utah. They was in the no offense, but they was in the rebuilding stage. Yeah. And so, I had Chicago, Cleveland, and the Clippers. And Doc was calling me. He literally was begging me to come to the Clippers. He's like, I need you. And I was like, man, Bron and them had just won 20 out of their last 24 games, looking like a heavy favorite coming out of the Eastern Conference in Cleveland. And I'm like, Bron or my Butu brother Doc. And I chose to go to Cleveland, right? And it was a great experience because I got an opportunity to team up with Bron as a pro. We did it in high school, but as a pro. But then it hit me once I saw it unfold with the Clippers, how much Doc really needed me in that locker room. And Doc and I didn't speak for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Doc, I consider Doc as a father figure to me. He raised me since the age of 18.
Yeah.
And so we didn't speak for 3 years. He wouldn't answer my phone calls, answer my texts. He was that hurt. And I look back on it and I see why. Because he needed that guy in the locker room. Milwaukee need that Patrick Beverly in their locker room.
Yes.
So you need that the extension of the coach. And I think people could talk they talk so much and bumping their guns, but didn't he just pass up Larry Brown? for most wins.
He win games.
Yeah,
man.
he win games. So I understand, we look at game 7s, but we look at last year. James Harden quit on him. Joel Embiid wasn't in shape. He wasn't healthy. They got to Boston and they couldn't close the series.
Yeah.
So, I don't like to sound biased, but I'm just keeping it real. Doc is a hell of a coach, man.
Right.
You just got to buy in and listen and be willing to be held accountable.
I'm biased. We Chicago guys. So
Yeah.
we
We
biased.
got
Shot time.
Piggybacking off of
nothing.
the time in Milwaukee hasn't been great to start off with. I think it's 10 games with 3 and 7.
Yep.
When you insert a new coach in there, how long does it normally take for everything to start to gel so we can? Because I feel like we haven't really been able to see them to like grade them under the Doc era because it's only been 10 games.
Well, we'll see the best version of Milwaukee right after the All-Star break. Now they get time. You got to realize Doc got hired. They were in the middle of a road trip.
Yep.
Right? So he was still living out of a suitcase. He don't even know what his house looked like in Milwaukee or his office looked like in Milwaukee. None of that. So, I think it takes time, for Doc to go over it. That's why you have training camps. And that's why teams are able to learn their new coach. He also hired new staff.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I mean, even that, I still think they need a personnel change.
Because it's like first of all, with Milwaukee, I think you got to look at the defense. Like with the offense, like Giannis and Dame, they gonna do their thing. So my question is, for defenses, and this all around the league, is it more so the personnel base, or you think it's on coaching?
No, it's personnel. You need dogs.
Yes, you do.
You need dogs. So you look all around the league right now, and you look at the teams that are the top contending teams, okay, outside of the Denver Nuggets because they're the defending champs. But look at the teams that's on their heels like a pair of socks. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I'm gonna take that, by the way.
You got the Minnesota Timberwolves. They the number one team in the Eastern Conference. But you look at them, Anthony Edwards is a dog defensively. He done bought things out of Karl Anthony Towns that Jimmy Butler couldn't do when he was there. You know what I'm saying? He done bought a certain type of tenacity out of Rudy Gobert that Donovan Mitchell couldn't do, right? So they're the number one defensive team. And then you go down the line, you look at the Boston Celtics, great depth. Jaylen Brown and Tatum ain't backing down from nobody defensively. Derrick White and Drew Holiday, both of them making all defensive teams.
Yep.
And they done pulled the dog out of Kristaps Porzingis. He meeting people at the rim now. You know what I mean? So you think about it and you like, damn, the personnel, the Los Angeles Clippers, Kawhi leading the charge.
Yep.
Kawhi got James playing defense. Like literally, like on the island, he's sitting down, he getting low, strapping up. So it's a mixture of both because you got to have that coach to demand the locker room, but it's about the personnel. And to be honest, Milwaukee don't have it. We don't know what's up with Chris Middleton.
Right.
You know what I mean? I thought they should maybe, I don't know the situation with P.J. Tucker if he's going to get bought out, but they just need another dog. Patrick Beverley is cool, but in the game today when the wing position is the most important position in the game, you got to go find it.
Yeah.
And the Knicks end up sniping them one with OG Anunoby.
Man,
I would
that's-
love if the Bucks could go get PJ Tucker. That would be nice.
That was when they
I
won
mean,
the championship.
yeah.
They had PJ Tucker.
You just got to have it.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, since we are talking about like you with Doc, what's the most difficult part about winning a championship that like we as like viewers probably don't get to see?
I think it's managing the personalities, especially when you have so many guys, and especially in today's age, right? All I hear from assistant coaches is, man, Perk, these young dudes so different, man. You got to cater to them. They spoil. You know what I mean? They making $60 million a year. So I think it's the personalities in the locker room. We had KG, we had Paul, we had Ray. We had Sam Cassell, right? Sam Cassell was, he didn't already won 2 championships. We had James Posey. We had Tony Allen, Big Baby, right? So Big Baby got 6 personalities in himself, right? We don't know if he's going to be Glenn. We don't know if he's going to be Big Baby. We don't know if he's going to be Mr. Davis. He got, you know what I mean? So You got Tony Allen, he from the Chi-Town.
Yes,
he
sir.
jamming Gucci Mane all day long. And, you got me. You got Rondo, who's a diva. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy, but he watching himself walk, like that's who he is. So I think it's really about setting a tone with the franchise guy. Like, Doc didn't have to do that with KG. KG set the tone.
Yeah. Okay.
First day of training camp, he walks in, he says, "You know what, Doc? I want you to run the offense through Paul and Ray." KG, you the best player on this team. No offense to Paul and Ray, but he's like, "Nah, if you need me, I'm here. I'm gonna worry about this defense." And right there, it was like everybody else had to fall in line.
So that's why. So you would say it's very important for guys when they come into the league to make sure they buy into their role. Like I feel like most of the league we talk about it all the time is role players, and you can have a long career if you just be a good quality role player. So we would just say that's like the really important.
Bingo. And that's what actually Doc saved my career. Doc called me up in my office at 19, and he said, "Perk, listen, you're not going to be an all-star, all right? You're not going to be an all-NBA player. You're not going to average 20 points. I don't even know if you're going to average 10. But I do know this. You could have a 15-year career. You could be one of the best defensive centers in the game. You could rebound. You could be a hell of a screen setter. You could make you a lot of money being a star in your role. Now, you could choose which route you try to go, but I'm telling you and giving you my honest opinion." And I bought into my role, and I had a 14-year career just being me. And Doc is so great at blocking out the outside noise and making you feel great. Like, Doc, we'll be in film session, and Doc will be running film, and I'll go up and set a screen for, like, Ray. Ray come out, pull up three, and hit the three. Doc will be like, "Run that back. Look at this screen right here. Perk, that's beautiful." And you leaving out the film room like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all can have everything else, but that's the key you need.
Facts.
That's the type of motivation you need, or your coach and your teammates to feel about you, and the rest to take care of yourself. But the average NBA career is what, 4.5 years now?
How long did it take you to? Because you said you was a 19-year-old. First and foremost, that's what we should have said at the intro. He's a champion, and he came out of high school. I know people say what they say because you're in the media now. I feel like unless you're a superstar, when you do media, a lot of the fans now with social media, they be saying a little bullshit because you're not an MVP or whatnot.
Yeah.
But people who know, that's number one. But people who know, Perk was a bad man in high school.
Yeah.
And when you say Doc brought you in his office and said that, how long did it take you to accept that as a 19-year-old who was just one of the best players in the entire country, and also was a first-round pick coming out of high school?
Well, because when I was 19, that was my second year. So when I was 18, when I was 18, that 18 going into 19, right? Doc told me there's 19 going into my 20 year.
Right, because you played for Jim O'Brien first.
Yeah, first,
Okay.
Jim O'Brien.
Okay.
And so that first year, man, I didn't play. Like, I walked into the arena, I didn't have a jersey in my locker. I was on the IR, injured reserve list, right? And back then, it was a minimum, I believe, 5 to 10 games. So if you went on, and I wasn't injured. So that was the moment right there. And I just wanted to get on the court.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, I came in with Braun, right?
Yep.
I came in
CP3.
with Melo. I came in that 2003 draft with Bosh. And me and Bosh went toe-to-toe as one of the best championship games in Texas history in high school. Like, a crowd of like 28,000 people.
Oh, you saying a draft class? I thought you meant high school.
Yeah,
player.
but draft
Right.
class,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm watching all these guys play. I'm like, damn, that year right there just like opened me up under Jim O'Brien. And when Doc came in, I was just like, at that point, I didn't give a damn. I just wanted to get on the floor and hoop. And so I just followed Doc's lead. But, man, I'm telling you, that first year of not playing and having to humble yourself and you know, the embarrassment that you have from your peers. Because so many people back home be acting like, oh, I'm so proud of you and all this, but so many of be hating.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
of
for
course.
sure.
Oh, I
for
knew he
sure.
shouldn't have went to the league. I knew he should have went to college. He ain't ready. That's why he ain't getting no playing time right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, damn. You know what I mean? So you find that level of humility and you just go from there.
What colleges would you consider? That's my favorite question for those of y'all that came straight out of high school. Who were you considering or leaning heavily to go to?
So I was looking at Texas with Rick Barnes,
Okay.
right at the time.
Shout out Rick Barnes.
Matt Doherty,
Okay.
right at North Carolina. And I was looking at Memphis. I actually signed with Memphis, John Calipari. Because that was my first time riding a private jet.
Oh wow.
The college experience the visit was great.
Yeah.
The bag was great. You know what I'm saying? So I went down to Memphis, and Memphis just reminded me of my hometown. Like, I'm a country boy at heart.
Port Arthur.
Yeah, born my wife from Port Arthur, but you know, it's still the same thing. Go to Triangle. It's only a 7-minute ride.
Okay.
If you really know, like when you from there, like saying you from Beaumont, saying you from Port Arthur, is kind of like a big thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
You got to tell them the updates or shit, man.
Yeah.
They say Port Arthur.
it do
when your
because I
name
was
come up.
actually born in the hospital
Okay.
in Port
Oh,
Arthur.
okay.
My wife be like, "Nah, you a Port Arthur baby." I'm like, "Make the hell out of here." but nah, that I think you know, the average years to that point is 4.5 years, and I want to get back to this point to y'all real quick. I watched so many guys come out of college, spend 3-4 years, and they just couldn't get it. And now I'm like I'm a young vet, but I'm old because I'm 4 or 5 years in. So I'm watching these guys, and I'm like, bro, this ain't gonna happen. Like, I understand you was dropping this in college and you was the man, but over here, like, Paul's the man,
Right.
KG's the man. Like, you got to find your role, and these guys just didn't get it. And I saw so many guys like a year and a half. They were overseas.
You know who did that really well? Kevon Looney. Looney is a guy that in high school, he had to handle. You
I
would see
just
him
saw
hitting
his
pull-up
mixtape
threes.
the other day. I was like, okay,
Yeah, Looney had a
fella.
bag. Looney had a bag. But
Yeah.
look at him. He bought into his role. He rebound like Dennis Rodman. He out there playing defense. And look at him now. He's a 2-time champion.
And you know what he is? A professional.
He is a
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah.
They love him in the locker room.
They do.
Yes.
Yep.
And I tell all those young guys, they go a long way, right? I'm not telling people to live this boring ass life, but it ain't what you do, it's how you do it,
Yeah.
right? So you got to pick your times when you want to go out, you want to hit the club, you know what I'm saying? You want to do certain things when you want to drink. Like in Looney, no one has anything bad to say about him. You know what I'm saying? You could move certain ways, you could do certain things without disrespecting the organization or putting it in their face. I love Kevon Looney.
Yeah, I want to keep it on the Warriors real quick because I really like what you said about just like buying in. Last night we seen Klay Thompson go for the bench since basically coming back since he got hurt. Is this the next step for the Warriors? Is Klay Thompson coming off the bench? Is this like the thing now?
I think everything is up in the air for the Warriors, right? And it's so hard, and that's why I always say. I said this about 3 weeks ago. Man, you can't mix business with emotions.
100%.
You know what I mean? And Jared Cross, right?
Yeah.
One of the best GMs ever.
Ever. Yep.
And people were so mad at him because he knew when he was ending it. Like, you have to end it at some point. You have to do what's best for the organization. And I think a lot of organizations get themselves in trouble because they hold on too long. They hold on too long. But I love this version of the Warriors. I'm not picking them to win the damn championship. But I like the movement. I like the direction that they're going in. I was preaching since the beginning of the season, like, play Jonathan Kuminga. Everybody in the league, all his peers, all the players, they know that this man got a bag. He can hoop. They know he's one of the most athletic. They know he's skilled. But everybody kept saying, oh, his IQ. I'm like, what young fella you know really have a high basketball IQ unless you let them play through their mistakes.
Got to.
You
Got
have
to.
Yeah,
Learn.
and so all of a sudden it was a blessing in disguise when Draymond Green gets suspended. Now, Steve Kerr, you have to play him.
Got no choice.
But you could have been doing this.
Yes.
Like, this man has been showing these flashes. And that was my whole thing. Now I see it because it's like, now they say, oh, Jonathan Kuminga, he's untouchable. Like, nobody could trade for him.
Yeah.
But them calling Braun at the trade deadline and trying to get him, right? That shows that they're not done. And they should, right? They should this offseason test all areas, all the waters to see how deep they are and see what they could get. Because if you got Steph Curry, it's just like LeBron James. Every single year you want to try to maximize him winning the championship.
Yes. Because both of them are still so good, and it's kind of crazy to see both of them in like the same area right now, where they both fighting for playing spots. When we knew back 5 years ago, we knew both of them were meeting in the finals.
Right.
So like now it's kind of weird to see them both now kind of at the bottom of the league, but now you see the younger teams at the top of the league, like OKC, Minnesota.
That's why they got to join forces. Do it.
So when that came out, I saw a lot of different opinions. Hypothetically, if they did end up together, how do you feel with them teaming up after a decade of going against each other?
You know what? I want to see it, but it can't happen with Braun going to Golden State.
You got to be Steph coming to the Lakers.
Because now I have zero ammunition to go to war for Braun on the GOAT debate.
Oh, okay.
I can't go debate against any Jordan fan that's about him being the GOAT. You cannot be considered one of the greatest players of all time and you actually go to Golden State, that a dynasty.
Yeah.
Like Steph Curry is top 5 player to me of all time. I got him over Magic because he changed the game of basketball.
What's your top 5?
My top 5 is Steph, Braun, Tim Duncan, Jordan, and I got Kareem in there.
Okay.
And people overlook Tim Duncan. I'm like, how do everybody, like you hear Charles Barkley say, you hear KG say, you hear Shaq say, Tim Duncan, oh, he's the greatest power forward of all time. Why is he not in anybody's top 5?
Yeah.
Shaq always say that Tim Duncan was like his toughest matchup.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan and
Tim Duncan
Hakeem.
got real
And a real killer. He was just quiet.
That's probably why he get overlooked, because he was
Yeah.
quiet.
But now Steph coming to the Lakers, that's a little different.
Look, he a Lakers fan, so that's like.
But that ain't gonna never happen.
I know. You got my
Thank
hopes
you,
up a little
because
bit.
Nah, that ain't gonna never happen.
Nah, I
he
can't
mean too
imagine.
much to Golden State.
Yeah.
Like, I always say this. You got popular people and you got powerful people. Powerful people move the needle,
Oh, for sure.
right? Yeah. Steph moved the needle, man. Like, for the economy out there, you know, for young, what, the Bay Area, they don't have the Raiders no more. What else didn't left?
Ain't the A's about to
I
leave?
mean, whole new arena since Steph been there. Like they've done a lot.
The A's
Yeah, I mean-
or did the A's leave already, or are they leaving?
They're going to Vegas.
Yeah,
He is the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's keeping that economy booming. We saw what happened at that period. Every single time Braun left Cleveland, what happened to the economy?
It went down. It's kind of crazy to think that LeBron boosts the whole city's economy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why should you bet with Caesars Sportsbook? 2 words, Caesars Rewards. Every bet brings you closer to the type of benefits only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, VIP experiences, sports and concert tickets, and more. It's not just an app, it's an empire.
Crazy.
I want to go back just a second. If Doc doesn't have a conversation with you, do you think you end up with a 14-year career?
No. No. Because I needed that conversation. You know how everybody preach it. Oh, you need people around you that's gonna tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. I needed to hear that.
Do you think that's why it's important that certain players get drafted to certain teams? Like, a certain player can get drafted to a certain team and you can see their career probably go a different direction.
Yeah.
Where, like, under certain coaches, they play better under certain coaches.
Fit
'cause
is
they,
everything.
They like buy into a role.
That
essentially.
matters.
Yeah.
That matters. Look at the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just find guys.
Yeah, the Heat culture is real.
Yes.
It's not just because they just develop guys and then they make final runs and they be the underdog. No one expect them to do it. No, it's because they're able to mold these guys into actually basketball players, right? Like Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson was probably about to be working with us. Seriously.
Yeah.
And then he got a trial. Then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
he on a $90+ million contract.
Same with Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah.
They just found him.
Yeah.
And he came
Caleb
in.
Martin, right?
Yeah.
Like, it had to be a phone call from, I think it was
J. Cole, right?
J. Cole
Yeah, J.
to
Cole.
Karan Butler to give him a shout out.
No disrespect. I didn't know who Gabe Vincent was
Me?
when he popped up on the scene.
Me either. Me either. And that's the crazy part. But everybody will think, oh, man, they held on to Udonis Haslam so long. Yeah, because he was an extension of Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah.
So you hear Jamal Crawford, you hear all these guys say, vet matters. Vets matter. Like, you need vets on the bench. You need that one guy in the locker room. Now, you have certain circumstances where it's like Anthony Edwards, SGA, like they're young, but they got old souls. And I think it's part of Anthony Edwards' upbringing, right? What he had to go through, his adversity. You could just tell he's very, very mature for his age. I believe he's 22. But the way he carries himself is like, damn, this be 30.
Why do you think teams have gone away from having vets in the locker room with these young teams?
Because a lot of people, you would rather pay a young player that you could send down to the G League or keep him around to develop him for about what, $400,000 or $500,000.
Let me ask you
And then
this.
you got to pay a vet 2.8. You know what I mean?
So it's just a financial thing. I
yeah,
can see
it's
that.
a financial thing.
Do you think it got to do with the new age? Like you said, 19-year-olds are coming into the league now, and they got 2 million followers on Instagram. They've been told that they the dude. A vet might come in. You might be a vet on OKC and be like, hold up. We still finna do shit in order, and I'm a vet. You gonna respect me, and that do you think that got anything to do with it?
Yeah, social media is powerful. Man, I done been on teams where at halftime, not the Celtics, but we were walking at halftime and guys were on social media.
That's crazy.
Guys are going to check Twitter and see what somebody got to say about them.
Really?
Yeah, at halftime.
And do you think that as a fuel? Like, have you seen a star do that? Look at their phone, and be like, all right, I bet y'all gonna see what's gonna happen in the second half.
Yeah.
And they come out.
Really?
But you got to realize, right? So even if it's a national televised game, okay, and say we doing NBA countdown, and say, it's TVs everywhere in the locker room. Everybody got the game on. So if you walking into the training room at halftime, the game is on. So if I call somebody out, like the other night I did with Paul George because he was struggling in the first half, I was like, man,
You gotta have more shot. You said he can't have him the third least shot attempt.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, bro, you can't play dead in the Western movement right now. But I don't know if he saw it, but he probably, if he did, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, let me go prove him wrong.
Do players ever hit you up as like a former player? Like, do they take your criticism in a positive way or a bad way, or is it like a mix?
Man.
Like, do they
Always
hate you?
bad. I know it is.
It's, you know what? It's like, oh, that's what we on? And I'm like, oh, man, get out your feelings.
Right.
So then they'll not talk to me for 2 weeks and they'll be like, you. I'm like, you. We that cool, right? So like the other day I'm crazy because I'm talking about an incident on TV and one of my good friends, like I'm literally on television talking about an incident with a player. And all of a sudden, I look down at my phone throughout the break and the GM hit me like, come on, Perk, know the whole story first. I'm like, tell the whole story. So you know what I mean? But he's my good friend, but it's just all the time, man.
Yeah, I can see that being a little frustrating.
How hard has it been to find that balance in media where you have relationships, but you also have a job to do?
It was hard. It was hard. Man, I'm going to tell you something. So Russell Westbrook is the godfather of my middle son,
Okay.
right? I haven't spoke to Russ in like 2 years because of something that I said on TV. And, his wife actually wrote me a message, and it was like a long paragraph, and it was like, damn, what did I really say? You know what I mean? I'm just speaking the truth, and I haven't spoke to Russ in like 3 years. And me and Russ used to be real, real tight. And I know if I just see him in person, you know what I mean, we'll be able to, you know, get back on track. But it's crazy because, like, his mom, his dad still holler at me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? My wife going to his mom's birthday party. So, like, it's still there, but me and him not there, right? And I'm like, it was more so with the stint with the Lakers. And I didn't really criticize him to the point where it was like no shade being thrown, but I gave a fair take of what the NBA was saying, right? Like GMs were saying, and what the position he was about to put himself into. And so it was basically me saying that he needs to be careful or he's going to be out the league if he don't change his mindset and change his role. Right? And accept it. That's what teams want to see. Nobody in the world ever thought Carmelo Anthony would have been out the league for the 2 years that he was
Nobody
out the
ever
league.
thought that.
And it had nothing to do with his game. It had everything with him taking a lesser role and changing his mindset. And I say this, and I stand on this to this day. The best thing happened for Russ is him going to the Clippers that saved his career.
Yeah.
But think about it. I wasn't wrong. He went from making almost $60 million to now I believe he's making like 3.5.
Right.
Right? So it wasn't like a far-fetched thing. And so, I'm going to get back with him. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of pride because I'm like, man, I ain't really say nothing too crazy, Russ, and you should know how I feel about you. And he got a lot of pride as well. I think I see him. We'll be good.
Yeah, I got to do that soon, man. I think one thing that I learned a lot over the last 4 years is with, like, when Kobe's passed, may he rest in peace. Like, there are a lot of things that you should overcome with people that you having disagreements with, because you never really know. You never really know.
No, you're right.
So either you hit up Russ, or Russ, if for whatever reason you watching this video,
For
Big
real.
Perk up, man.
We gotta make
Russ,
that
it wasn't
happen.
your
right.
fault either. It wasn't your fault. The Lakers situation was just a whole mess for
It was
everybody.
a whole mess.
For everybody. So you can't even put the blame on Russ.
It's
you
just
know?
basketball anyway, man. That's he godfather of the kids, man, of the son.
close.
Yeah.
You know who does a great job, though, of, like, understanding the job and understanding the moment? It's two people. It's AD and it's Bron, right? They understand it. Like, Bron and AD never hit me with anything, and I done been critical of them. But they like, man, we don't care about that. That's your job.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not performing, I got to say something. You been on First Take.
Yeah.
Right? NBA today is a little bit more flexible. We could dive into the, the actual game and certain adjustments that need to be made or a big list or whatever. But, First Take, you got to bring it.
You got to do it, yeah.
And you got to stand on business with your take. It's First Take.
Yeah.
It's a debate show.
Yeah.
What's
the name.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've played with a ton of great players. Give me your starting five of teammates. Oh, I know.
His starting five might not
don't do
lose
that.
a game.
It's all Hall of Fame. It's all Hall of Famers.
Don't do that to me. You know what? I got KG at the 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Champion.
Now, I believe Rondo should be in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Rondo, what he did with the Celtics, I believe he should be in the Hall of Fame. But I got KG. I got Braun.
Right.
I got damn.
Shout out to Rondo. Rondo, you gotta come.
Shout out to Rondo, man.
Come on the show, Rondo.
I got KD. I got Braun.
Okay.
Oh,
That's yeah.
KG, Braun, KD. I gotta throw Paul in there, man.
Okay.
I didn't seen people hear Paul now, right? The crazy Paul. My God, love him to death. But Paul was a problem,
He was
man.
a bucket. Yeah, he was
Paul
a
was a problem. Shaq gave him that name, the truth. Think about it. Paul arguably had, and I'm going to name my last one. I'm thinking about it right now. Paul arguably had the greatest individual run in like far as NBA history in this postseason. He went toe to toe with a prime Joe Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody know Joe Johnson? Know what Joe Johnson
Yeah.
was bringing.
Yep.
Then he went toe to toe with Braun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, won that battle. He went toe to toe with however you want to name it, whether it was Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey. He was the leading scorer in that series. And then he topped it off, Celtics, Lakers, and he went toe to toe with Cole.
Yeah.
And came out with the Finals MVP.
he did it, yeah.
So Paul's in there. I didn't seen P be too clutch too many times. But if you have all that, then you got to have the perfect point guard, and I got to put Rondo in there.
Okay.
Rondo's
No
probably
disrespect to Russ, but I
Yeah.
got.
I wanted to hear who he's gonna get, either Russ or Rondo. But
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with either one.
Shout out to Doe.
Yeah, with that type of talent, Rondo's
Yeah.
like literally the perfect one to fit that.
Right. Yeah.
It was hard for me to leave Ray out of there.
Yeah, especially with that spacing, that 3-point shooting.
Oh, Jesus Shuttlesworth. Like, he may not come when you want him, but he's always on time.
No,
That's
yeah.
Ray.
What would I want to dive into some of the stuff we was talking about before we started recording. What would be some of your advice for people that's the young folks, whether it's pursuing basketball, whether it's pursuing media, whether it's just finding themselves? You know what I mean? You was talking about a lot of things that go on in our community and the upbringing and trying to be quote unquote real and standing on business versus getting shit done. And I just want somebody like you who's done both, successful as NBA player, a champion, 14, 15-year career, one of the best high school basketball players in your class, and now killing it in the media, a father, you know what I mean? Like, black excellence. You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what's crazy is I always tell people, and even at our network now. So I pop up on the TV screen. I just be wanting to say NBA analyst. Like the player was in my past life, and I have so many regrets because I feel like I could have done more. Right. So I look at this opportunity and I want to take it to another level. So I'm like focused on this new chapter. Kobe inspired everybody to focus on the new chapter. Like Kobe, life after basketball was about to be bigger than his actual basketball
Absolutely.
life.
100%.
And that's some
Grammys
crazy
and
to
everything.
think about. Think about it. Like Kobe about to have 3 statues, 2 jerseys retired, right? So I think about who's in your life and who you look up to. Like who's going to mentor you. And I was telling you guys earlier, and I'm gonna say it right now, Stephen A has been a hell of a mentor to me and a big brother to me when it comes to stepping into this space. Since a youngin', when I first got in here, like 4 years ago. And he did an interview and it went over people's head, man, and it's so crucial. He said, I wake up every day to see how to make my boss's money, and then I see how to get some of it. So who are you following? Right? It's a smart businessman. Who are you following? And then it's like, I don't need to be rolling up a blunt or smoking a blunt saying, man, I'm a real one, man. Tap in, I'm a real one. I'm doing it for the culture. What culture? What example are you really setting? You know what I mean? Like, what example are you really setting for the youth out here, right? For our next generation of kids. That's why I be so pissed off at guys that are in the league today, right? That are making $50, $60 million a year. Because you know what? They had some guys before them that had to pay the way for them to make that.
Yeah.
Right? Guys had to stand on business. So it's like, who are you looking up to? And then if you want somebody to look up to you, at least really put it in their face what the real world is about. Like, how can you be successful? Especially as a black man. How can you be successful? I don't wanna be real to who's not doing nothing with his life that's still posted up on the couch firing up blunt after blunt after blunt, but ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing.
Right.
So why should I want your approval? And why should your approval matter to me? You see what I'm saying? And when we have these grown people out here doing this stuff, and right now you can't hide your kids from social media.
Yeah.
My 7-year-olds, I got twins, a boy and a girl. They got TikTok. right? My 16-year-old, he got all the social media. My 12-year-old got all the social media. You know what I mean? But I'm cool with it because I'm able to have, I'm so authentic. It's just what it is, right? And a lot of people go judge everything that you may do and say, oh, I may
Always.
do it a different way.
Yep.
Like my 16-year-old got 5 tattoos. But before he got his first one, he said he wanted his first one for his birthday when he turned 16. So I said, give me a reason on why I should let you get a tattoo.
Yeah.
He said, you got yours at 16. I couldn't even argue with him. Right? I couldn't even argue with him. But he's such a good kid. He's bringing home straight A's. You know, he's doing everything. He's not disrespectful. He's standing on business. And so I'd rather teach my kids or have my kids be open with me about stuff because I want to be able to drop my children or whoever I have an impact on their life. I want them to be able to go anywhere in the world and adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning adapt, be a leader, not a follower. Followers is the ones that get in trouble. It's just like a game,
Yeah.
100%.
right? Like, it's a game. You have your top dog or whatever it's called, right? Your leader. Then all of a sudden, everybody that's under the leader end up in jail or dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you not being your own leaders? Go set the positive example. But it just blows my mind. I get tired of I'm a real when I'm doing, like, real about what? Why are we still throwing that even around?
What would be, me and KB are both newly fathers. What would be some fatherly advice that you would give us as young men who are just now stepping into?
2 girls too.
Two
we
girls.
Both
Oh,
having, yeah.
I got a daughter.
Yeah, mine is 3 months.
Yeah.
How old is?
Avery's about to be 2.
It's amazing. You know what? Having kids change how you view the world, right?
sure.
I do too.
You remember that saying they used to have before we all had kids? It was like, you don't know how it feels until you have a child.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a real saying.
That's facts. Yeah.
Because you view the world differently. Like, everything about that child changes you. You know what? I mean, and this is not even like golden advice. This is something that y'all probably already feel already. Like, you have a child, you automatically put yourself last.
100%.
Because everything you do now is for your children.
Yeah.
Everything you do. Everything you do is for your children. If you married, it's going to be for your children and your wife. But everything you do is for your children. And you know how I know you feel that way? The worst fear in the world for a parent is one day having to bury your child having to bury your child.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, it's an honest conversation. That's my worst fear. You know what I mean? So I would just say, man, you know, love that child, be open, and it's a fine line because, you know, I was raised by my grandparents. My mom was shot and killed when I was 5 by her best friend. So I was raised in an old household with, like, you know, old soul. So I grew up quick, and it's different now, right? You gotta have that balance with your child, where you're their parent and somewhat their friend.
Yep.
Because they're gonna be exposed to too much in the world. You know what I mean? You can't hide nothing from them.
Yeah, you can't teach them everything.
Yeah, and you don't want them like going behind your back. You want them to be open with you and not afraid to come talk to you. So that would be my biggest advice.
Yep.
Yeah. I appreciate
And I know they're young right now, but
Yeah.
it's
gonna be flying.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna
fly.
fly fast.
And girls mature faster than boys, so like,
Time fly. You said some real shit. My mom used to always tell me and my siblings that, like, she used to be like, I want y'all to bury me. I don't want to bury y'all.
I'm telling you,
That's real.
it's the worst fear in the world.
and I definitely do agree with that. You want your kids to be like comfortable with you, to come talk to you, because last thing you want them to do is not feel comfortable talking to you, and then they end up in a bad situation.
Yeah.
They coulda
Fear.
did-
Yeah.
I would say,
But you still want that parent was like, they know not to
Yeah,
sure.
for
Yeah.
sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, I whooped my oldest child one time, right? One time. And it was just because he deserved it. He ran off in the mall at 3, and I couldn't find him. oh, it was the worst feeling in the world. Like, we couldn't find them. I'm like, no, sir. Like, with kidnapping and stuff like that, with all my other kids, like, all right now, it's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's a flex.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my when it's my time. I don't want to do no whooping. I just want to be like,
Yeah. All right now.
yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest. I ain't gotta waste no energy getting riled up. Hey, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
tell mama.
Yeah,
All right now.
just make that look.
It's all right now.
So Big Perk, we appreciate you coming in. We just got news. That's our time.
Oh.
You invited anytime to come.
I
Anytime.
appreciate it, man. Y'all keep
love to have
doing a
you
great
back.
job, man.
You gotta write a book. I ain't gonna lie. I know you as a player. Obviously, a personality. Even that part right there, condolences. I never knew that about your mom or your upbringing. That's the type. And even the what you just said about being a father, about being real. People sitting on the couch, flying up lunch, trying to get that pen. That's the shit that people really need to hear.
Yeah.
You might need to write a book. I'll read your book. I'll read the hell out of it.
In our community, man, like we gotta keep being leaders, bro. Like we can't just, cause it's just like the internet. The internet is like, oh, you say something on the internet or you tweet, and then you have your trolls. Everybody go follow because they don't want to be singled out.
Yeah.
But you gotta jump off the porch and lead, man.
Yeah.
Like all of us, cause the way that this generation is coming up, man, y'all know like I know, man. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
We see it firsthand, man.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Oh
just-
yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate you though, Unc.
I appreciate y'all
Gotta
having
have
me,
you
man.
slide back
It's a
some
blessing.
point.
Man, y'all keep growing, keep doing y'all thing. And at the end of the day, man, I always say this is it's not much, but it's a lot. Whatever you put into it, that's what you go get out of it. So, the more you keep punching at it, the more you keep putting in the work, you know what I mean? That's what you go get out of it. The reward, the sacrificing to get the success, that's huge too. You know what I mean? So y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. I'm proud of y'all, man, and I appreciate y'all having me.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
man.
Love.
Yeah.
Great interview with you, man.
That's a wrap, y'all. We'll see y'all.